This Crow Castle free autobattle lightning and town archer setup can be used right from the early game, and it will give you a smooth and steady progression towards your later parts of the game. In this video we will go through every single part of this build, what makes it tick, and also optional units that you can try and include in your build if you wanna mix things up a little bit, or if you have 13 hero slot purchased, for example. Let's start by going through every single unit and what their purpose in this build is. This build has 4 main damage dealer units right in here: the Town Archers, Zeus, Dark Lightning Archer, and Thor. So let's start by going through Town Archers first. They are one of the main sources of your damage from this build. And in early game you cannot equip items on your Town Archers. You will need to reach the Town Archer section in the skill tree in order to do that. We will go through the skill tree in a moment. But keep them in your build, and since their individual level up cost is lower than heroes, try to aim to keep your Town Archers around like double the level of your highest level damage dealer hero or leader in your build. So double that amount should be approximately your Town Archer level. If you have more gold to use, then you can of course go higher than that. And then all the heroes in this setup from top to bottom. First we have the Dark Necromancer, who is one of the most, if not the most important hero in your build in basically every single game mode there is. The defense reduction he applies to enemy monsters is one of the most powerful buffs in this game, so absolutely include this hero in your every single setup. You mainly want cooldown items for this guy, and you wanna aim that his curse cooldown should be lower than the cooldown of our next hero, Pure Wizard, who is also one of the core heroes that you should have in your every build, because Pure Wizard will reduce the cooldowns of all heroes when you cast him. And one of the most important things of making your build stronger, especially if you go through towards later parts of the game, is having as low cooldowns as possible. So having Pure Wizard in is extremely crucial for that purpose. Also cooldown items for this guy, and like I said, try to aim to keep his cooldown as low as possible while keeping Dark Necromancer's cooldown just below Pure Wizard. That will be the best optimal thing you can go with. The third hero we have in this setup is Zeus. He is one of the main damage dealer, one of the lightning damage dealers. Very strong unit, very capable of taking care of the flying enemies, especially. You can set him to target the flying monsters. And leveling him should be one of your key priorities. So you should mainly spend your gold on your key 4 damage dealers and your castle, and that will give you the smoothest progression you have. Then next up on the second row we have Smith. Smith heals your castle, so in case you take damage, Smith can be used to repair 60% of your castle's max HP. And especially early on you will have to rely on tanking some of the hits, especially from the bosses, because your cooldowns won't be that low yet. So the lower your cooldowns again are, the more reliably you can also take care of the bosses at the end of the round without needing to take much hits for your castle. But early game you will likely have to take some hits, so Smith is an excellent choice for that purpose for this setup. Then we have Chrono. Chrono only boosts your game speed, and it might feel like, okay, he doesn't do anything else, why would I want to have a 10% increased game speed and sacrifice a hero slot? But do include Chrono in your build, because faster progression is what you really want in this game. You will be waving a lot of the time, and you will want to have as much waves done in that time frame as possible. So use Chrono in your setup. Early on you can use the left hand side promotion, which is passive, doesn't cost you anything, but once you get cooldown items for Chrono, you will eventually go for the yellow and the blue promotions down on the right hand side promotion. But start with the left hand side before you have any items. Once you have cooldown items, go for the right side promotions. And then final unit on the second row is the Dark Ice Wizard. Dark Ice Wizard can freeze flying enemies and ground enemies. So if you set him to target the flying monsters, his normal attack will freeze the flying enemies. This will be extremely handy in freezing the Zeppelin, the flying mini boss that comes throughout your run. And once you can basically perma-freeze that, you will not be taking any damage from the flying enemies basically. So that's a huge buff. While his ability will also freeze all the ground monsters, so that will be a really handy. He's an extremely easy to use crowd control hero for this game, one of the strongest crowd control units you have. And there is no need to level him up further than level 31 for now until very much later in the game. So you just have to get him to this level, promote him all the way down, and you are good to go. You don't have to waste any more gold until much later in the game. Like, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of waves. Then on the third row, we have the Blue Defender. The Blue Defender gives your castle defense and castle HP. So this allows you to tank a little bit more hits. Again, if you have to rely early game tanking hits from the bosses, so this will be helpful for that purpose. And he doesn't need any items, so he's an extremely easy, simple hero to use. Just promote him and you are good to go. This third row is also kind of optional, so you can switch some of the units in here. We will go through that in just a moment. In the middle we have Dorothy, and Dorothy can be used as a crowd control unit. There's no real need to level her up that much, just get her promoted to the final promotion and you will be good to go. Right now, even the level 500 that I have in here is not needed, plus level like 31 will be enough. The summon's main purpose is to apply poison debuff to the enemies, which will make them take more damage, and also apply crowd control once you get some items for Dorothy. So aim for stun and knockback items, mainly for her. She is not meant to be doing any damage. Again, no need to level her up for damage, just for the crowd control. The targeting doesn't really make much difference, but you can use ground or auto in here in this case. And the third one in here we have is Dark Assassin, whose main purpose at this point of the game is to apply the critical damage debuff to the enemies. So every enemy hit by Dark Assassin attack will take more damage on the next critical strike, so this will boost your main damage dealer's damage again. You can also use him kind of for damage, especially later on, but he is not that great to be used as a damage dealer in early game because he needs low cooldowns to work properly. So you can just promote him all the way down to Dark Assassin and use him on level 51, that should be nice, or just go for 99 like I have in here, that's completely fine. But the main purpose having Dark Assassin in is this critical damage debuff, so he's another support hero, not meant to be doing damage in this particular setup right here. And then on the last final row, we have three more heroes who are all basically like archer heroes. The first is Dark Skeleton, who is here to boost your town archers damage. So you will absolutely want to include Dark Skeleton in your build in case you are using town archers, which we are doing in this setup right here. The only purpose for him is to boost your town archers. Again, no need to level him, just get him fully promoted and that will be enough. You don't need to waste any gold, he is not doing any damage in this build at all. Next to him we have the Dark Hunter, who has a similar purpose. He gives the haste buff to your town archers, and that's also a very crucial buff for your town archers, so make sure to also include Dark Hunter in your setup in your early game town archer build. Same thing in here, no need to level, just get him fully promoted and that's good to go. Ignore the level I have on this hero in this video, that's from another setup, so ignore this level. This should be just level 31 and you should be good to go. The another purpose that Dark Hunter serves is the Archer Trio passive attack speed boost. This will give your Dark Lightning Archer a passive 150% attack speed boost, which is huge. And Dark Lightning Archer is the third hero, in fact, in here that we have on the final row. So she is one of the main damage dealer, one of the lightning damage dealers of this setup. In early games, she won't be super strong. She will require quite some stuff in the skill tree to like reach her full potential, but you might as well include her in your early game as well. Her main reason is the passive plus 100% damage to boss monsters that she has for herself. So she is a boss killer. She helps you to clear the bosses at the end of the round. That is the main reason you have Dark Lightning Archer in your build. Of course, she does deal some damage throughout the run as well, but she should be like, out from the 4 damage dealers you have in this build, she should be the lowest level that you have for now, because in early game she won't be super strong, and the gold is better to be used on Zeus, Town Archers and Thor. Which of course leads us to our leader, Thor. So Thor is our lightning damage dealer leader for this setup. You can set him to target auto or ground, both make a huge difference, whichever you want. And the chain lightning that Thor has is extremely strong from the early game, from basically wave 1. He's a very strong leader to use, and he will be likely the #1 damage dealer in your setup. he will be, or at least really close to being the #1 damage dealer in your setup. So Thor is the leader of our choice. He's the only lightning leader we can have for this setup. Try to aim to get like chain lightning items for him when you can access L and eat your items later on. Early on you can't access those lines, so just pick whichever damage boosting lines you can get. Now that concludes the heroes and the leader. Then we can take a look of the other stuff around our build. So let's first of all take a look at the things behind our heroes. In here, in the castle path section, we have the lightning castle base. So take this, level it to level 99 as soon as you can, and you will get the passive plus 15% attack for your lightning units. Again, lightning build, out from our 4 main damage dealers, 3 are lightning type, so we do wanna buff those. So lightning castle base is the base of your choice, that's the only one that really makes any difference in this setup. Up in here we have the lightning castle, which you can level up if you want. If you have excessive crystals and you don't know where to spend them, you can level up the lightning castle. It will deal a little bit of damage early on, but it will drop very quickly as you progress, so it won't be a strong unit to use. You don't really have to worry. You can completely even ignore the lightning castle if you don't want to level it, but if you want to pick one thing for your early game to level up, then you can pick up the lightning castle. And the third one, the empty slot in here, doesn't matter. You can pick whatever you have. So if you want to level something else, sure, go for it. But I would not really recommend it. I would rather just save the crystals or spend them on the lightning castle instead. The final part in here we have is the sealed castle, which will again give you a little bit more defense, allow you to tank maybe 1 or 2 more hits, which can in fact save you at the end of the round when you are meeting the bosses. So sealed castle is the best choice you can have in here. Again, level to 99 as soon as you can for the maximum defense boost. Then, in front of the castle, we have the towers. So, from the tower section, we have on the base 4 tower slots to use. The first one we have in here is the golden tree. The golden tree will give you a little bit of gold every few waves. And this will work even with the free auto battle, which doesn't give you any gold from the wave itself. This will still work. So, make sure to include the golden tree in your every single wave build you have. It's one of the main gold sources you have in here. Next to the golden tree, we have the frozen tower. Frozen tower just slows monsters it hits, so it's a very minor crowd control boost. There's no real need to level this up, just get it fully promoted and you are good to go. It does absolutely 0 damage, it's just there for the minor crowd control boost. To get items for your towers, you will also need to unlock the tower section in the skill tree. We will go through that in a moment. Also, options you can use instead of the frozen tower. If you don't want that, you can use the defensive barracks or you can use the torn worm. Same thing, don't need to level them, just get them fully promoted and you are good to go. All of those will kind of work, but I would pick frozen tower for your early game setup over here. On the top row of towers, we have the mirror. The mirror will copy the tower that is on its right side, which is why we have placed it in here. On the left hand side slot in here, and on the right side we have the death worm. The death worm will steal MP from the enemies it hits and recover that for your castle, so you will get more MP the more the death worm hits the enemies. So this is your main source of MP regeneration as you go towards later and later parts of the game. And in the very early game he will not be recovering that much mana, but as you progress he will be a really important source for your MP recovery, so make sure to include him in. That's why he is in here, and with the mirror tower we can get 2 of them, so that means double the MP recovery, which is a really handy thing. And then finally, the things behind our castle, we have the buildings. In the building section we have the spring water, which will reduce the cooldown of everything in your build. Again, low cooldowns is super important the later and later you get in this game, so you want absolutely have this building in your setup to lower the cooldown of every single unit in your build. Next to it we have the hero guild and the archer guild to boost our heroes damage and archer damage, to give us a maximum damage boost for our setup. So we definitely want to include both of these in our build. Once you get a little bit further in the game and you can save up 200 crystals, you should however purchase the uni guild. The uni guild will give the boost for town archers and heroes both, so it will combine 2 buildings into one basically. So equipping it will allow you to have 1 more slot for your building section, and for this slot you can use a couple of options. You can use the tower The tower will give you more tower damage, so you will get more, for example, dead worm damage, that means more MP recovery. Or if you use thunder towers, you will also get more damage for your thunder towers. We will go through that in just a moment. Give me 1 second. And the third option, which I would probably go for, is the bar. If you use the bar, then you can use slingers in your setup, which is an additional optional unit you can use in early game. Not the best, but it will be one of the best crowd control units you can have in the build as you progress towards later parts of the game. So that leads us again to the second row of the castle, which I said was kind of an optional unit that you can try to experiment and switch to something else. So one option will be removing Dorothy and taking in slingers. Slingers can be used as a crowd control unit similar way to Dorothy, but with the bar building you can get 10 of them, which is very nice amount of slingers. And once you eventually get a slinger pierce node in the skill tree, they will then be able to do even more crowd control because they can pierce the enemies with their hits. That will not happen in early or maybe even in mid game. It will be later parts of the game, but eventually that will be a really strong thing for you to have. So you can have slingers in here, for example. Another option which you could have in here is having the stone. If you wanna use, or if you have already leveled thunder towers based on the old setups, then you can still keep them in or have them in, and you can use stone here to boost your tower's damage. It also gives you more tower slots. So in case you wanna use thunder towers, pick in stone in here, and you will also wanna change your blue defender promotion to red defender promotion, because red defender promotion will give you more tower damage. So that would boost your thunder towers damage output. So in case you wanna keep them in, then you would want to do this. And in that case, you would want to have your thunder towers in here and place the mirror on the left side of your thunder towers so that you can have 2 thunder towers for your setup. That will boost the damage output from your thunder towers. So that is an option if you want to keep the thunder towers in, or if you, it's also possible if you want to level them up for as a 5th damage dealer for this setup. So that is an option. I would say it's easier to go just with the 4, but the 5 damage dealers, thunder tower being the 5th, will also work if you want to go down that road. Now, if you do have 13 hero slot purchased, which is one of the best purchases you can make in this game, if you want to spend any money, I would highly recommend the hero slot. In that case, you have one more hero option to be used in this build, so you can use any of the heroes we just went through. So, for example, include both Slingers and Dorothy for your setup. Or you can also use Dark Elf, because Dark Elf will be able to also heal your castle. Every time Dark Elf hits enemies, you will get a little bit HP back for your castle. So, alongside with Smith, Dark Elf can be used for healing purposes. Won't be that great in the early game, but it's an option if you have 13 hero slot purchased. 10 treasures. The treasure section looks like this. The bow you want to have is Cursed Knife when you are using Down Archers as a damage dealer. This will be the best boost for your Down Archer damage for waving. So pick the Cursed Knife, level it to the max as soon as you can, and that will be the best Down Archer boost we have. Then we have the Worldless Coin, which will make us not be able to earn any gold from the wave itself, but it will allow us to use the auto battle function for free. So this is extremely nice. Even though it sounds scary that you cannot earn any gold, you will still earn gold from the golden tree, from your workers, and from your colonies. And your colonies especially will be super great gold income from your early and mid game. And it will be more than enough, even if you feel you are not getting enough gold. As long as you concentrate on your colonies, you will be good to go, trust me. The next one we have is the Devil Horn. The Devil Horn will allow you to skip more waves every time you complete a wave. And I would recommend using the first level as you start going through the game. You can keep on the first level until like 100,000 waves, or even more if you want to. If you can beat the harder level, sure, go for it. But staying with the +1 is completely fine. So you choose the level difficulty by selecting the plus something option below the Devil Horn itself. So I would recommend the first level as you progress, especially if it's your first time playing this game. Go with the first level and you should be good to go. Then we have the Iron Wheel, which will give us more colony gold. I just said that colonies will give most of our gold, so extremely important treasure to boost our gold income for this setup. And then we have Whip, which will also increase our colony gold income as well. So both of these treasures will help you get more gold. However, if you are not strong enough, if your build is struggling, you can replace the Whip with Power Claw. The Power Claw is the most best offensive treasure in this game. So if you need more power, replace the whip with Power Claw. The whip gives you less gold boost than the Iron Wheel, so replace the whip with Power Claw if you need more power. And then we have the skill tree. Once you have 53 points, your skill tree will look or should look something like this. I will also include an image version of this to the description and pinned comment, so make sure to check those out after watching for further additional information. But this is something you should have when you have these kind of points. And if you do have Thunder Towers, or if you want to equip items for your Worm for more MP recovery, then you will need these 4 points in here. These will allow you to use up to S tier items for your towers, for Dead Worm or Thunder Tower, basically. So in that case, you will want these, and if you need more points, you can sacrifice temporarily these 3 nodes, for example, in here, this crit damage 5% node. So take these off and go for here if you choose to go down that path. But once you have gotten these parts, you will want to have the leader node, the sword node in here. It's extremely strong for your Thor, and also the hammer node, which will boost both of your Zeus and Thor's damage. Very strong nodes that you want to have. Once you have these picked, then you want to continue up throughout the outer circle and pick the bow node and the archer trio node. These will buff your Dark Lightning Archer's power, so she will become a better boss killer that will help you against the bosses at the end of the round. Then once we have these points, we will continue through the outer circle over here, and we will go through this part, which is the Town Archer section. This will allow you to use Town Archer orbs once they reach level 10,000, and up to S tier items for your Town Archer. So once you reach this, your Town Archer will get a tremendous damage boost for your build. So this will be your goal at this point. And once you do it, try to farm for S tier items for your Town Archers, and you will be good to go for a long time. Once you're done that, you can go probably through the physical tree and get these 2 nodes in here. These will further boost your Dark Lightning Archer's power. And then final things, but really important things, don't rush anywhere just yet, the altar above your buildings. We are using the altar of healing in here, which will give you a little bit of emergency healing through your wave in case you need it. So this is like mini smith, basically. It will heal you 30% of your max HP once it's max level, which is level 11 for the altar. Options you can use is the altar of tower in case you use the Thunder Tower. Then you can pick the altar of tower to boost your tower's damage. Also, you might feel that you want to use the altar of tree in your early game to give you bonus experience. Sure, you can use it in your very early game, but experience points in this game are basically completely useless, so the altar of the tree doesn't really give you any boost, so you can just completely ignore that one. I would recommend the altar of healing above all of these options for this particular lightning Town Archer setup in here. Then in town, we have 2 important things left. We have the monster lab first. So in here you can pick 1 weakness for each monster that appears throughout your wave. And since we have lightning build, just pick lightning weakness for all monsters you can. If you pick another one, it will override the previous one, so you can only pick 1 weakness. So pick lightning weakness for all of these units. There is this one guy who cannot get lightning weakness, so just pick critical damage for whoever cannot get lightning weakness in the monster lab. So that should make you good to go. Then the final important part, but really important part, is the costume shop for your Town Archers. You can pick whichever costume you want, so you can pick basically skins for your Town Archers. Sure, that's nice, but that's not all, because you can level up your skins. And you can level them up with crystals up to level 5, which will give you 5% damage for your Town Archers for the hair, and 5% critical damage for the body. So make sure to pick up the costume that you want and level them eventually with your crystals, both of them to level 5, so you can get the 5% boost for damage and crit damage for your Town Archers. Only the buff from the costumes that you have equipped on them will apply to Town Archers, so you don't have to purchase and level up all of them. They will not stack. You will only get the damage boost from the costumes that you have equipped on your Town Archers currently. And now finally, when you have all of this set up, your battle results should look something like this. So your damage dealers are in here at the top. Thor is likely to be the number 1, but it can differ a little bit between wave and wave, so they should be kind of equal, all of them. This will depend on your items and how you have leveled them, but this should be how it basically looks like. And then the boss damage should be something like this as well. So with these, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I will do my best to answer and explain this build further, but this should give you a smooth and steady ride throughout your early and mid game. So now, good luck with your waving, keep up with the good grind, and make sure to check in my Discord. The link is in the description if you have not yet joined. See you next time, my friends.
Bye bye.